Dun, 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 dun,
Bernardo, Horatio, and Marcellus meet up and talk about their first encounter with the ghost. Horatio thinks everyone else is tripping, and Marcellus brings him to witness firsthand the appearance of the ghost. He wants to prove that there is a ghost who looks like the dead king of Denmark. But Horatio remains skeptical of his friends. The guys converse with the ghost and try to understand if the ghost's visit is a bad thing or a good thing. Then Horatio offends it, and the ghost disappears. After that, the guys talk about Denmark's future and the king's intention with war and young Fortinbras. Ghost returns and they attempt to touch it with a spear. Then they decide to immediately tell Hamlet what had happened to them.
Claudius begins scene 2 by speaking about his recent marriage to Gertrude, which follows the death of King Hamlet. He wishes to bring peace and stabilization to Denmark by marrying her, but it only makes Hamlet more upset. Claudius also mentions that he has been sent a letter from Fortinbras demanding the surrender of the lands that King Hamlet took from his father. Before Claudius's coronation, Laertes was in France and now wants to go back. At the same time, Hamlet wants to go back to school, but he isn't allowed to. At the end of the scene, Hamlet makes his famous to be or not to be soliloquy, which exclaims how he wants to die, and he wishes that suicide was not a sin.
While Laertes prepares to leave for France, he warns Ophelia about Hamlet. He says that Hamlet is so high above her, he won't be able to love her rightly, and it would be impossible for him to marry her. Polonius enters into the room right as Laertes is leaving. He gives Laertes advice on how to act with integrity and honor. He says that Laertes should keep his opinions to himself and not act rashly, and treat people with kindness. After Laertes leaves, Ophelia tells Polonius the advice Laertes gave her. Polonius asks about what Hamlet has been telling her, and when she says that Hamlet told her he loved her, Polonius gives her the same advice as Laertes.
Why don't you start at the beginning?
It was really cold. So cold that I couldn't feel my toes.
It was before 12, I think.
No, it was after midnight, because I heard the clock strike.
I didn't hear it strike, but anyways, it was about time for the ghost to appear.
Well, the king was drinking and dancing all night, like the idiot he is. Literally, he went through 3 bottles of German wine. But it's tradition, so what can you do?
Then the ghost entered. At first I thought it was an angel, or maybe even a demon. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, no, I totally thought it was an angel at first.
But the weirdest part, it looked exactly like the late king of Denmark.
It definitely looked like the dead king.
It looked like my dad.
What happened next?
Well, when we first saw the ghost, he wouldn't tell us anything.
Nothing at first.
Nope, nothing. Just silence.
Wait, backtrack a little bit. How'd you get that ghost to speak?
Well, I told him that whatever he was here for, whether it was to bring fire from hell or breeze, I wanted to talk to him.
It was literally the worst way to confront a ghost.
Hamlet was not in his right mind.
I did everything I could to get him to talk. I called him Hamlet Sr., King, Father, even Royal Dane. He just would not answer.
It was kind of disturbing. I know Hamlet is grieving, but he's acting mad.
Insane.
I got so angry. He wouldn't talk. So then I started yelling at him, and then he just motioned me to follow.
It is as if the ghost wanted to tell him something, but just him, and keep it from the rest of us.
Both Horatio and I told him not to go.
He told him it was a bad idea.
I had to go. I didn't have a choice.
He told him multiple times, but he wouldn't listen to us.
He's just a ghost. What's the worst he can do? Kill me? Oh well.
Of course he didn't listen to us.
He just walked off with it.
I knew I had to follow. It didn't matter what he would tempt me to do.
Okay, then what did the ghost say? Can you elaborate?
He told me everything.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's my son. Of course I told him everything.
He told me the truth about his death.
I told him how my brother poisoned me in order to take the throne and steal my wife. Claudius stole my life.
He just stole his life and at the same time ruined mine.
So, Hamlet, what do you intend to do now you know the information?
Nothing extraneous.
I'm dead. What can I do? It's my son's responsibility now. I've done my part.
What does the ghost want from you?
He wants me to right some wrongs in Denmark.
Meaning?
I need to kill my uncle and expose him.
Well, obviously he needs to avenge my death. That may or may not include killing my brother.
What about Gertrude?
She is not to be involved.
I mean, that's what he told me, but all I can think was she involved? Who can I trust? Anyone?
What happened after Hamlet returned?
Nothing.
Nothing. He just looked so grim and determined.
Honestly, I'm surprised he came back at all. I thought he was going to jump over the ledge or something.
No, there was no danger there. I mean, if I died, I guess I died. But I didn't. I mean, it's a ghost. What's he gonna do? There's no danger in me following him.
I just kept telling him not to go. So many bad things were bound to happen. Like, what if it tries to convince him to jump off the sea or off a cliff? I just knew the entire encounter would drive him mad.
I just didn't care, so I went.
Horatio and I were physically pulling him back. We knew it wasn't a good idea for him to follow that ghost.
Yes, those idiots were pulling me back, but I told them fate was calling me, therefore I was destined to follow. And the whole time, the ghost just kept waving at me. And I finally broke free from Marcellus and Horatio's bounds and followed the ghost of my father.